Welcome to the Lifestyle Property Podcast. I'm Jamie Greaves, your host and professional property investor. I'm here to bring you insights, home truths and powerful stories about what really goes on in property investment, business and growing your dream lifestyle. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to Lifestyle Property, and welcome to episode 31, which is titled My Favourite Things About Property Investment. And this episode is going to be value packed for those of you just starting out in property investment, or you want to move into it, or you've only been doing it for a short time. Well, there's a lot to unpack in this episode, and I want to use this as a pep to your week to get you going and help you taking action. So here's my favourite things, because business and property investment, just like life, can be a roller coaster. You know, things can go right, they can go wrong. We can have good days and bad days and loops, and we're going around in circles. But at the end of each day, I'm very, very grateful to be a property investor. And I'm living my childhood dream personally. It makes me full of joy. It's something that I'd always wanted to do. So I want to share what are my favourite things about property investment, to give you some educational insights, but also some inspiration for what you can achieve as well, and the lifestyle that's closer than what you might think. Okay, so I'm going to just go through these, and who knows how long this podcast will be, because there's a lot of my favourite things, but yeah, there's a lot of value in this. So a big one for me is the freedom. So I love not having a boss. I really, really do. I worked in a corporate career for 10 years. I was a boss, I was a manager, but I love not having one, and I love not having any limits on days off. It is amazing. So for me, like travel and family are two of my core values. So I like to go away very often, and yeah, I spent a month in Cape Verde last year. This year I just got back from 3 weeks in Brazil. So I really do value that the freedom that I have, and I don't need to count days in terms of a capped annual allowance anymore, which is amazing. And I suppose even more helpful than that is just to kind of compare where I was to where I am now. So in my corporate job, like the more that we succeed in a corporate life, I really found the less freedom you had. So I was a head of position, so I was head of sales and marketing for a asset management company in New Zealand. I was living in Auckland, but I was trapped somewhat because I was in a senior position. I could only have a limited time off at any one point, and we had a lot going on. We had a lot of major events and projects happening throughout Auckland. And one Christmas, I looked to bring my younger siblings over to New Zealand, and I couldn't get enough time off work to justify them coming over. And I was like, well, what am I doing here? What am I? I'm working, I'm saving. But the more I earn, the more tax I pay, and the less time freedom I have, and the less time I can spend either to go on holiday or to travel or to spend with my family. There has to be something else out there, and that was my starting place. And now I'm ever so grateful to have got there, in terms of now I can go away for as long as I like, and I can spend time with my family and enjoy life. So that's my be all and end all, and property and owning assets are just life changing for that. They really, really are. And in terms of family, an amazing aspect is, because we're not going to be around forever, is I get to pass on a legacy for my family in lots of ways here. Because to become a very successful property investor, you learn a lot. You develop a growth mindset. We learn about economics and money and gratitude and so many things. So we pass a lot of these things on to our family. The softer benefits, which is the things like budgeting and so many things we can pass on. But from a practical perspective, I mean, the real touch it, feel it perspective, we can pass on generational assets to our families. You know, and it's very tax efficient to do so within limited companies and trusts, and that's just wonderful. It really, really is. So I mean, for myself and a lot of yourselves, I started in rent to rent personally because I wanted to build up cash flow, and that gave me the time freedom. And then once you've got that nailed, and once your cash flow is nailed, you within all want to buy assets as soon as we can. Okay, and just some reflections and lessons I've had from over the years. You know, BRR when you combine that with a high cash flow strategy, it just speeds you up massively. Momentum investing, really, really powerful. And then we keep the assets for life. And these assets that we own, and they will be income producing for us now. They'll give you your time freedom now. You can enjoy the money now. So work hard, put your money into assets, and then live on the asset money and enjoy that money, in short. And then we can pass these on. So if you've got children, you can pass them on, or nieces or nephews or charities that are close to your heart. There's so many things. So that generational legacy. And what's amazing is once you've nailed property investment, you just keep growing. You just keep growing, and your legacy grows bigger. And certainly my mission is growing bigger and bigger. I've got some very altruistic missions, some big charitable goals. And yeah, it's amazing, the legacy. So wherever you are, whether you're just starting out or you're getting going or you've been a few years, keep going, because you're creating such a legacy for your family, which is amazing. I'm rattling through these. Now in my sector, so I do, it's got so many names, Airbnb, short-term stays, SA, holiday lets. I love my sector because of the income it produces. We can buy capital growth, but practically I love staying in my Airbnbs and holiday lets as well. Okay, because it's beautiful. So imagine owning holiday lets in stunning parts of the UK or abroad, and they're not meant to be full all the time. If your holiday lets are full all the time, you're too cheap. Okay, you need to raise your rates. So there'll be times where they're empty. Well, you go and use them and enjoy them. They've got hot tubs and pool tables and dartboards, and I've really, really valued from that. My family love coming away to our places. It makes it so real. It's harder to do that in other sectors, and it's more. It's one of the unique aspects of my niche. But I love it. Love it. You can touch it and feel it and just make memories with your family in your assets. It's remarkable. And also, just I suppose from a practical perspective, we can retire far early. We invest in property, grow our assets, grow our income. We can significantly reduce our retirement age. I met a lovely couple in Brazil on recent travels, and they'd waited 50 years to retire, bless them. 50 years just to get the freedom to go where they wanted, when they wanted, with whom they wanted. Well, we can do this in 5 years through assets. So 50 years working for someone else, or 5 years through assets. Okay, and that's a really crude metric, and there's variables there, but we want to get this freedom as soon as possible, and then enjoy that freedom. So you can go to the gym whenever you want. It's just little things. You can help your family whenever you want. You can go wherever you want, whenever you want. That's the goal. And property investment has significantly brought it forward for me, and it can bring it forward for you as well, which is just amazing. It really, really, really is. And as you develop through property investment, you'll be early on. You'll hear the phrase "bring value," and when I started out in property, I was like, "Well, I know I'm meant to bring value," and I'd call estate agents. "Oh, I just want to bring value to you," and they were, "Well, you want to do what, Jamie?" I didn't truly understand it, and then what I realised over the years is just bring value is help people, help others. Because the more people we help, the bigger the kind of better things. It's just better for the world, better for everyone, and it's better for you as well. But early on, it's hard to help others. Now, we can in some way, but if you're 3 months in or 6 months in, you can help those who are just starting out. So do remember that you can always help someone. Apart from when you're very just starting out, then you'll be helped a lot. But as soon as we can, start to help others. Okay, because property can be a lonely, confused and overwhelming place if you don't have good guidance and support. So if you can help others and both selflessly help others, but from a selfish perspective, it is addictive. It does feel great. Now, in the past 6 years, I've helped a lot of people, and I'll continue to do this forever, both in formal roles as a mentor in my businesses, and I just try and bring value and that word and help others in every conversation I have. And it is really fulfilling when you help others. So from a selfish perspective, if you can get to that stage, it's wonderful. When you can help people with their problems, whether that's a vendor, that's an investor, that's a mentee, and you can solve that ethically, it's wonderful to do for that person, so it's the right thing to do. But from a selfish perspective as well, it feels wonderful for you. It's very fulfilling. And property allows that because it's a people business. Someone came on to, I forget who it was, mentioned it, but people, business, numbers game. So it's so people are a big part of it. So by helping others, it's just a wonderful feeling when you can do that. Really, I'm going to keep the list going because there's so many things, and I hope this has been useful for you. And it shows what you can get to as well. You really, really can. Now the next one is a big one for me. Okay, and it's the ability to spend quality time with my family. Okay, so having the time freedom. Now, my family require my support, as many of your families will need your support, and just having that kind of time freedom. So my youngest siblings have got special needs. For those who don't know, they're and they've always got appointments for this and for that and for various things, and it's very overwhelming for them. So me having the ability to go to all of them now. Previously I couldn't. Previously I was in work. I couldn't just take a half day here, half day there, but now I can. I can take them to appointments and then just go and enjoy life after. And I know this might sound like a little insignificant thing, but for me, it's huge. I can very easily take, and this happens very often now, take them to any appointments that are necessary and then just go and spend the day with them. Just going, it might be a Wednesday when I might just go to the park or go bowling or go for lunch, just have a fun, have a good day out. I love that. I really, really do. I book it into my diary, and then it's my diary. I run that diary. So it's really, I'm so grateful for that. I really, really am. And it means a huge amount to them and a huge amount to me. And we can therefore be there for our families, which is amazing. And that might be for your partner, for your sons, nephews, daughters. But it's really, when you get there, it beyond the monetary aspect of investing, beyond the wealth generation of capital growth, income, and okay, beyond the kind of freedom to travel, just the ability to do those little things in life is amazing. It really is. It's probably my number one favorite thing, because it's so different. Because I remember being in a proper job, should we call it, in a corporate job, and we don't, and I certainly didn't have that time freedom. And especially as we progress and we earn more and we've got more responsibilities, our diaries are chocker, aren't they, in those kind of jobs? Whether you work for yourself or someone else, you're just back to back to back. So when you can start to work for yourself and then choose to when you work and what you work and where you work, I mean, now we're going into other reasons now, aren't we? But yeah, it's just amazing. It really is. And I suppose on that point, we'll keep it on a roll. And I'm doing this. I try and do my podcast as Drake. So apparently Drake does his songs as one take. I try and do my podcast in one take, so it's more real and authentic for you. And I hadn't even. I do sometimes pop just some notes down, so I'm bringing you value, and that word again, value. So I'm helping you, and I'm not just waffling for 20 minutes. But yeah, that's another aspect, being able to work from anywhere as well, because I am still growing my portfolio. I'm an investor. I'll never stop. I love it. I found my passion, my ikigai, my raison d'être. I still can't pronounce, but being able to do it from anywhere in the world is amazing, either in a grand way. So I mentioned I spent a month in Cape Verde, and I split my days. I'd do a half day on the laptop working from the sun, and then I'd be away loving the island. That's amazing. Or just little things that you can work from anywhere you want. You're not tied to one location. So that means there's no commuting naturally. So if you want to work from home, you can work from home. Amazing. But if you want to work from on holiday or this country or that country, you can do, with no restrictions there, which is really, really nice as well. Yeah, I'm going to keep rattling on. I hope that this is bringing you help and value. It certainly would have done me 6 years ago to see the lifestyle that you can live, and it's so close by doing a few of the right things. I love who I've become in the past 6 years, because it's you. Growth mindset is important in property. and assets. So to the mindset to think positively and abundantly, solution orientated, it helps you grow your portfolio. So you'll hopefully be on the path of growth mindset and developing and learning this, and that just helps in life as well. It really does. So it's wonderful. You'll see yourself progressing, and your friends and family will comment and notice upon this because they'll see a big change in you for the better, which is amazing. Then along the way, you'll make these what I call property friends, like all these new friends that are so well suited to your new self because they're also in this growth mindset, growth stage of life, and it's amazing. And the friendships are very real, very authentic, because if you're in this mindset of just helping others and collaborating and getting to know others. Then soon friendships are built, and they're built on very strong foundations, and you can build empires together. You really can, and I'll mention that now because we're rolling like Drake-wise. Like my property portfolio has not been built alone. If anyone that's followed me for even a short amount of time will know that I bang on about this, but the people around us, our business partners, our investors, our mentors and mentees, our professional providers, so our solicitor, our architect, our planning consultant, all those people, so important, and it makes it very enjoyable aspect, because early on, in fact, just to go off on a tangent, early on there's some things that I didn't enjoy about property, and maybe that has to be another podcast as well, other things I don't enjoy, because I don't enjoy the planning system. I don't enjoy pushy sales trainers or course trainers, and I didn't enjoy early on, because early on I was overwhelmed, and there was too much noise. I was lonely early on because I was doing it all myself. I stopped working in a corporate environment, and then all of a sudden I was working at home on a laptop, not knowing what to do or what I was doing. I was confused, didn't know what to focus on. Now I don't have those aspects anymore because I've figured it out, and this is what I've shared on the podcast in terms of growing our team, getting accountability, and not doing it alone, being really focused, sorting out cash flow first, all those core lessons that I covered in some of the first podcasts. And if you've just come to the podcast, I heavily recommend you go back to some of the early episodes because there's some gold in there for you that I really wish I knew 6 years ago. But now it's the opposite, whereby I have full clarity, and I appreciate that. I've got amazing people around me. If anything, now it's the opposite of learning, whereby I try and just I have very quiet evenings and weekends now because it's just nice to have calmness. It's beautiful. And then I suppose a final one on this tangent of a podcast that I hope has brought you a lot of value is I knew deep down, as I was working and saving, I knew there was something else out there, but I never bothered to look. I knew I knew I had more in me, but I never bothered to think about it. I just kept on my same trajectory for 10 years, and I'm really grateful for it in many ways because I love my job. It doesn't have to be a hardship. I really enjoyed it. But now I'm living my dream. I dreamt of this. I dreamt of owning my own business, being my own man. I mean, buying properties. Buying one was a bit of a dream growing up where I came from. Buying 20 to 30 in the past few years, it's a dream. And then ongoing, I do pinch myself with that. And if I ever do have bad news or a bad day within life or in business, I make a note of that, and I remember that I once dreamed about being where I am today. And I'm soon in that abundant, positive mindset again. So there you have it. They're my favourite things about being a property investor. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You do have to work hard early on. But if you do work hard early on, then you can reap the rewards for life. And it's downside, you're working for you. It's okay, you have to work hard early on, but you're working for you. So it doesn't feel nowhere near like work, because it's all your benefit, and you're benefiting you and your family. So it's amazing. So yeah, just to leave you with this, if you want to be a property investor, then go do it. Give yourself the right and the belief to do it. If you want to use property to get early retirement, in general, if you want early retirement, investment's the best way to go. Okay, and property is such a powerful asset for that, far higher returns, far higher control than any other asset class. Okay, so just take the smart action, be focused, get that good team around you, and you can do anything you want, anything you set your mind to, and then use property investment for the kind of amazing lifestyle that it can give you. So they're my favourite things about being a property investor. I hope this podcast has been helpful and valuable for you. Okay, any questions, just reach out to me. My name's Jamie Greaves. I'm on Facebook. That's the only platform I really used for 5 years. I've recently re-logged in back into my LinkedIn account. I'd not logged in for a long time. I'm recently back onto Instagram as well, so feel free to connect. I'll put my connections in the show notes for you. Say hello, any questions. And then next week, I've got my big announcement. It's the biggest announcement that I've done on the podcast and the biggest news I've done on the podcast. So I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week. I've been your host, Jamie Greaves, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Lifestyle Property Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could leave us a review so we can reach and help more people. I'll also be giving one person who leaves a review a free family holiday to one of our luxury holiday lets. Thank you, and see you next time.